Hello everyone, it's me again, Raquel Ana Altres, and this is the continuation of the lessons in the developmental reading one. Okay. For the lesson 3, theories on reading process. There are 3 theories: the bottom-up model, the top-down model, and the interactive model. For the bottom-up model, it depicts reading starting with the input of some graphic signals or stimulus. The role of the reader is to get meaning from the text based on the stimulus or the words used. The bottom-up model, it is also called a data-driven processing. So the reader will get the word before the meaning. In the bottom-up model, it is imperative for readers to recognize every word in a selection so that the reader can comprehend it. The word and sound letter cues should be the primary tool that readers should use so that the reader can identify the unrecognized words. The mastery of a series of word recognition skills is the primary requirement for reading acquisition. So word recognition skills is the primary requirement in the bottom-up model. Instruction should focus principally on the teaching of letters, letter-sound relationships, and words. So there is a grapheme-phoneme or letter-sound correspondence that focus in the bottom-up model. The accuracy in recognizing words is significant, and it is important for readers to have the knowledge of discrete sub-skills. So in the bottom-up, the learners master technical aspects before comprehension and understanding, from syllables to words to phrases and sentences, meaning from part to a whole. And the bottom-up is a text-based on the words used, input graphic signals or stimulus, and the data-driven processing. For example of the bottom-up model is look at the vocabulary. The next model is the top-down model. It depicts reading beginning with the cognitive processes occurring in the reader's mind as he or she reads. The role of the reader is to give meaning to the text based on the information already held within the reader's store of prior knowledge. Top-down model is also called a concept-driven processing. So the reader in the top-down model will get the meaning of what he had read because he has a background knowledge about the meaning of the word. In the top-down model, even though readers do not recognize each word, they may be able to comprehend a selection concept-driven processing because he has already a background knowledge about the meaning of that word. That's why the reader can be able to comprehend a selection. The meaning and grammatical cues primarily assist readers to identify unrecognized words. The mastery of a series of word recognition skills takes a backseat in comparison to the use of meaning activities. So in the top-down model, word recognition skills is not a primary requirement. The reading of sentences, paragraphs, and whole selections should be the principal focal point of instruction. So when the reader starts to read, he will read directly the sentences paragraphs, and the whole selection to get the meaning of what he read. Reading for meaning is the central objective of reading rather than the mastery of letters, letter sound relationships, and words. So, in the top down model, the meaning is the most important rather than the word recognition. The amount and kind of information obtained through reading is the most important aspect of reading. Again, in the top down model, it is the opposite of the bottom up, and the reader is able to comprehend the selection and the meaning is the most important. So, in the top down model, the concept driven processing, it is a cognitive processes, text based on information. For example of the top-down model is understanding the story or understanding the vocabulary. The third model is the interactive model. It depicts reading as the process of constructing meaning through the dynamic interaction among the reader's existing knowledge, the information suggested by the written language, and the context of the reading situation. So in the interactive model, there is a interaction, and it is recognizes the interaction of the bottom up and the top down process simultaneously throughout the reading process. In interactive model, the readers process letters and words at the same time as they formulate hypotheses about the meaning of what is on the printed page. The meaning simultaneously comes from a combination of different sources like logographic knowledge, orthographic knowledge, morphemic knowledge, grapheme phoneme correspondence or the letter sound correspondence, lexical, semantic knowledge, syntactic knowledge, and schemes. Instruction should give a balanced emphasis to the teaching of whole text and phonics. Again, in the interactive model, it it is a interaction of the bottom up and the top down process, and it also involves many levels of analysis at the same time but at different levels. It includes skills, reasoning, decoding and hypothesis, generation and confirmation or rejection. So there is a common sense approach in the interactive model. So, what is the importance of the theories on reading process? Number one, it is a when using different approaches are beneficial in different ways. The learners can be encouraged to use both bottom up and top down strategies to help them understand a text, and it plays fundamental role in learners' trial to comprehend a text. And all of these theories leads to the creation of mental frameworks that help learners make sense of new experiences when reading. So, next is a reading teacher should be aware of one's thinking process, and a reading teacher should be also careful in examining one's thinking process and the thinking process of others. And the last one is a reading teacher should be practicing one's thinking abilities. And that's all for the lesson 3 in theories on reading process.